Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so my video cut off. My phone was giving me a lot of trouble with my SIM card issue. But what I was saying was, these things are not for you for these kind of reasons. The reasons that will otherwise provide you moments of wanting to give up, or reverting back to old ways, or heartache that makes you not care. You know, when you bring yourself the wrong people for the wrong reasons, or you bring yourself the wrong things for the wrong reasons, and it goes the way it's ultimately going to go, which is bad for you, that's what ends up happening. You end up getting converted, or potentially converted, because not everybody falls to this temptation, but you end up finding yourself hopeless, you know, in a crash out state of mind, or a few of these come together to ultimately make you crash out. You want to stay away from things that are not meant for you, not just because you understand that they're not meant for you, but the why they're not meant for you is often having to do with the Lord not wanting the consequences to come around and change you. And so that's really what I've come to say here. My channel we use for a lot of different reasons, and today I was referring in my last video to a moment where I woke up this morning after having a not so pleasant dream, in a state of mind that I hadn't been in a long time, a negative state of mind that didn't serve me any. And you know, it was that understanding that I experienced that helped me, you know, to this conversation here, and all the different things that kind of led from that became what this last video was. So this is just a continuation of that video, part 2. But you know, I didn't really have too much more to say other than that. Just try to stay away from things that are no good for you, not just because they're no good for you, but because if you stay with something that's no good for you, it'll likely turn you into something that ain't no good itself, if you allow it to. And that's what you're also trying to avoid. You know, the longer we stay on earth alive in this evil place, the more we find ourselves saturated in the pain that it provides. And that can take away your desire to be a good person, take away your desire to be a believer in others, a believer in God if you allow it to. It can take away your resolve and your strength, and it can wear you out if you allow it to. But the practice of doing things the right way, of being obedient to a living God, of understanding His grace in your life, and understanding how good a relationship with Him is for you, will ultimately align you with an understanding of how to navigate around those moments that are meant to wear you down, and navigate you away from those things that are meant to, in consequence, turn you into something that you have no business becoming. And so that's really what it was that I was trying to say there. Obviously, the enemy did not want me to get that out without disruption, but this is an important message for even all of us who watch this little small video. If you don't believe in God, that is your right and your business. I'm not here to try to make people believe in a religion or any type of practice of any kind. I know better than to do that in a world like this. There's too much influence and too many to be godless. But what I can tell you is the fruits of believing in God and what comes of it for a lot of us who keep that practice in our lives for the rest of our lives. We end up staying focused and aligning with something that can allow us to see through the evil and the fog in this world. The fog in this world that is meant to, over time, make us one more example of why not to be any good. Why to just go along with being compromised, since it seems as if everything else is compromised. And it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of hope. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot working against that for which is compromised, so we might as well fall in line. That's what a lot of freedom fighters end up falling victim to. It's just the long-term wear and tear of swinging at air and not seeing the results that they're looking for. Of seeing people that they believed in, that, you know, inspired them, ultimately come up compromised. Don't be another example of that. You already know you're in an evil world. That's essentially what we've been talking about. Don't think that just because it may take 2 and 3 lifetimes to undo the madness around you, that you're not being a necessary tool in undoing the madness around you. It takes time sometimes. A lot of us won't see the promised land, so to speak, but we do need to be passing forward what we need to ensure that it is possible. And that's the message today. Of the journey, not having your enthusiasm for the fight be wrapped up in your experiencing the final, best of whatever is coming. Some of us have to be about the journey. We're not going to live to see, and some of us are not going to live to see the journey, but we are intricate in making it possible. And our giving up prolongs that from happening. So that's why I tell you that selfishness that a lot of us are dealing with is not happenstance. It's not inevitability. Things don't have to be compromised like they are in our government in America. Things don't have to be evil like we've seen in circumstances in history. It is not meant for us to just go along with whatever evil we see because it's hopeless. It's not hopeless. It just requires people to be unselfish enough, patient enough, and sacrifice enough to pass forward the hope necessary for the generation that is going to change things. They continue to be an example of those who didn't give up, who were not compromised, who were not stuck in the struggle so deep that they had no reason to keep fighting. Those people prolong the possibility of great change and suffering ensues because of their selfishness. We need not continue being a part of the problem. It's just like I say about working out. If you're not happy with what your work has done in terms of results, you did a few push-ups and now you want to see your chest pushed out. You got to keep doing push-ups if you want to see success. You woke up one morning and decided you wanted to see it that day, but that's not how this works. You got to keep that in practice. So too is change in the world. You can do a little freedom fighting for about 6 months. If you don't see the change you want to see in the world, now you're giving up. Now you pledge an allegiance to the evil that ultimately made that fight necessary. Then you're not going to see the results from doing that. What you can do, just like you would do if you stopped doing push-ups, you can see your chest go back to deflated. And so too is what we're talking about in regards to any other thing worth doing, including freedom fighting. You got to keep going. Just because you're unhappy with the results of what it is you see doesn't mean that the fight doesn't continue. The fight continues. The essence of what it is that needs to be done is necessary because so many people quit. Don't be one of those people. Your chest is deflated because you quit, not because you woke up one morning and saw the results that you were looking for and therefore kept going. You kept going because you didn't. And so too is anything else worth working for. You kept in school because you haven't gotten your degree. You're not going to wake up one morning deciding you want to quit thinking that you're going to be happy with those results. That's the results that come from not doing what you're supposed to do. Those are the feelings that come from not having accomplished your goal. And the only way you're going to accomplish your goal is through the work. The only way you're going to accomplish seeing the world be a greater place is if you put in the work without being so selfish to say, I need to see it be a greater place for me to want to keep doing the work. That's what I'm here to say, man. That is the essence of my thought, man. Some of us just have to keep going, regardless if we see it come or not in our lifetime. Some of us need to keep going, whether the hope is there or whether the support is there or not. That's really what it comes down to. The support may not always be there for all of us. Some of us have to keep going, not because we want that support, but because we're going to be that support for someone else. It is the essence of hope, is those who do without looking for anything in return. You get it because somebody else did that. BL44. I thank you all for watching.